Know what's awesome? Fridays are awesome. I'm Carl Azus, and I'm glad to bring you Friday's edition of CNN Student News. First up, as another winter storm iced its way from Texas to Massachusetts, Kentucky's governor declared a state of emergency. It allows the National Guard to help and lets state officials close roads. Some parts of Kentucky got more than 20 inches of snow in 15 hours, stranded hundreds of cars, road crews couldn't keep up. And Boston, Massachusetts is less than 2 inches of snow away from its snowiest winter ever recorded. Winter weather's also being blamed for this. Delta Flight 1086 skidded off the runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport yesterday morning. The plane with 132 people aboard finally stopped at a small embankment just feet away from the icy East River. 24 people were hurt, no one was killed. One passenger thanked the crew, first responders, and God that it wasn't worse. LaGuardia Airport shut down most of the rest of the day. CNNStudentNews.com is your one-stop shop for all things CNN Student News, including our roll call request page. We've called in a school named Washington 4 times this school year, but never the middle school from Washington, Illinois. Great to have the Panthers watching today. We visited Pennsylvania 5 times this school year. This time, we're stopping by Canton to shout out the Warriors of Canton Junior Senior High School. And we're rounding out today's roll call in Georgia, but not the U.S. state, the Republic. In the capital, welcome to the Panthers of QSI International School in Tbilisi. To Nigeria, the largest economy and wealthiest country in Africa. Population, 177 million. But an estimated 70% of its people still live in poverty, and the nation is struggling against the Boko Haram terrorist group. It's gotten so violent in northeastern Nigeria that it's having an impact on border countries. The Islamic militants have been attacking parts of Cameroon. Its government is having to spend money to fight them, and it's losing money from tourism. Boko Haram and the ISIS terror groups have something in common.
Boko Haram is an Islamic militant group operating out of Nigeria.
Their name means Western education is forbidden. Boko Haram's first known attack on multiple police stations happened in 2003.
But they became better known around the world for the kidnapping of over 200 schoolgirls in April 2014.
What are we asking?
Bring back our girls now and alive!
They want to create an Islamic state in Nigeria.
A country that's split into a majority Muslim north and a mostly Christian south. They now control much of northeastern Nigeria. That's an area about the size of Belgium and almost as big as the US state of Maryland.
We're talking 30,000 square kilometers.
According to Amnesty International, Boko Haram carried out one of their deadliest attacks just this January.
Some fear up to 2,000 people were massacred in Baga.
And Amnesty released satellite images highlighting the shocking destruction. The situation is so bad, Nigeria postponed its presidential election over security concerns.
Free, fair, credible and peaceful elections would be greatly jeopardized.
Nigeria has now formed a military coalition with neighboring countries and are carrying out airstrikes against the militants.
It's early days yet, but there has been some success. Beating the terror group, however, could be an uphill battle
because of low morale and corruption allegations within the Nigerian army.
Its soldiers are under-resourced, poorly paid, and often just outgunned by Boko Haram.
Time for the shout-out. What is the term for the civil time that's currently being observed throughout the U.S.? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it A, Greenwich Mean Time, B, Atlantic Standard Time, C, Standard Time, or D, Daylight Saving Time? You've got 3 seconds. Go. Even though most of the U.S. spends most of the year in Daylight Saving Time, it's currently on Standard Time. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
Of course, that all changes on Sunday or Saturday night when Americans in almost every state spring forward, setting their clocks ahead 1 hour. That's when we'll be on Daylight Saving Time. It's the law in the U.S. thanks to the 1966 Uniform Time Act, but it's not a law that all states have to follow. And parts of Arizona and all of Hawaii don't observe daylight saving time, nor do several U.S. territories. The idea goes back to well before the 1960s. Jim Bolden reports on its roots in Britain and the First World War.
This was a war where every hour counted, on the battlefield and on the home front. By 1916, an old idea had resurfaced, one that was born in Britain near the home of time, the Royal Observatory at Greenwich.
With the publication of a pamphlet called The Waste of Daylight, and this was composed by a very entrepreneurial builder called William Willett, who lived in Chislehurst, which is about 15 kilometres south of Greenwich. And Willett was a keen horse rider, and he used to go for early morning rides in the local woods. And it was on one of these rides that he noticed that all the blinds in the local houses were all down. Everyone seemed to be in bed, and as a very industrious and productive man, he was appalled at this waste of time.
Everyone appreciates the long, light evenings. Everyone laments their shrinkage as the days grow shorter. And nearly everyone has given utterance to a regret that the clear, bright light of early mornings during spring and summer months is so seldom seen or used. Now, if some of the hours of wasted sunlight could be withdrawn from the beginning and added to the end of the day, how many advantages would be gained by all?
Willits died before he saw his idea put into action to save coal for the war effort. But it was adopted at first by the Germans, not the British. Postcards warned the population about the shift and why they owed it to their country not to forget. The British followed a few weeks later and didn't miss a chance for a dig at the Germans. America came on board in 1918. As DST spread around the world, countries adopted it, dumped it, or never tried it. Still, the daylight debate rages every year. The arguments exist whether it helps or harms our health and the economy.
In terms of the health debate, that still goes on too. People suggest that with lighter evenings, people go out for a jog. Certainly here in Greenwich Park, it's very popular. And then also people claim that it has tourist benefits. People stay out later, go for a meal outside, so it can have real economic benefits.
While the wartime wisdom of saving energy may no longer apply, for many of us, the long summer evenings still endure. The legacy of a war where so much was lost to give us these freedoms. Jim Bolden, CNN, London.
So yesterday we showed you a cat island in Japan. Today we're headed to South Africa for a look at some bigger cats. And we're not lying. These cats are. A family was driving through a safari park getting a really close look at lions when one walked up and opened the door with its teeth. Now's the time to go. Someone on the video says the door should have been locked, but who would have expected the animal to open it? Especially when the others look like they're just lying around. Now, people tend to lionize these animals for their catjesty. They're truly a clause célèbre, but when one approaches that closely, you've got to be kitten out of there fast. I'm Carl Azouz for CNN Student News. Have a pawsome weekend.